Hey guys, welcome to Reddit Brew. You know the drill. We're back at it again with the r/entitled people Reddit stories. Just a forewarning, this story is slightly disturbing. However, it ends up not being what it seems. So if you get mid-story and you want to vomit, bear with me. Things do get clarified. There are resolutions, but I still wouldn't deem this story as happy though. So I just wanted to let you guys know so that you can make the cognitive decision as to whether or not you want to listen. But without further ado, let's jump into it. Today I found out that my boyfriend has been cheating on me with his mother for our entire relationship. My boyfriend and I have been together for almost a year now. We met at my mall food court job and immediately hit it off. After a month of knowing each other, he asked me to be his girlfriend. Of course I said yes. Our relationship has been pretty great up to this point. He takes me on dates, compliments me, and just makes me feel super special. The only weird thing is, he would never let me meet his mom. His parents are divorced and have been for almost his entire life. The divorce was messy and his father ended up getting full custody. They had the typical every other weekend and 6 weeks out of the summer setup. I have met his dad and his paternal family, but he would be weird when I brought up his mom. He would tell me things like, "We have a complicated relationship," or "I'll tell you about it later on." About 3 months into the relationship, I began to realize that he would never answer his mother's calls or texts around me. He would hastily clear it out or step in another room to talk to her, even if it was just texting. I tried not to let it bother me because I wanted to respect his boundaries. Last week, he spent the night at my house for the first time. I woke up around 3 a.m. because of a bad dream and I couldn't go back to sleep. I rolled over to grab my phone in the dark, but accidentally picked up his instead. I looked at the messages from his mother. I opened his phone, began to read through them, and noticed they were mostly very sexual. There would be nudes exchanged, hardcore sexting, and messages for them to meet up for sex. I read the conversations in disbelief. I tried to pretend like it wasn't real and that I dreamed it. A few days later, I confronted him about it. It didn't take long before he broke down and told me everything. He had been having sex with his mother since he was 13 years old. They usually have intercourse once a week, sometimes more. They've been doing this throughout our entire relationship. He never told her that he had a girlfriend because he wanted them to still have their weekly sessions. At this point, I don't know what to do. I love him with all my heart, but I am so disgusted with him and his mother. I haven't talked to him since he told me everything. After he told me, I ran out and drove to a town 2 hours away. I blocked him on every social media and his phone number. I changed the locks to my house. I've also called the weekend to work so he can't find me. What should I do? Make it work or break up with him? Update. Thank you everyone for your advice and kind words. I've decided that I'm going to talk to his dad and him both. I'll talk to his father first and then him. That way, his father can help me figure out what course of action we may need to take. I messaged both of them an hour ago. His father agreed to meet me this afternoon. I unblocked boyfriend, and I'm still waiting on a reply from him. I'll update later after I talk to them both and decide what we should do. Update. I have no idea where to start with the events that have occurred in the past 11 hours. I'm still shaken up, and this is hard to process. My boyfriend finally messaged me back a few hours after I asked him to meet up with me. He agreed to meet me at his apartment. I made sure that I was going to talk to his dad before him so he could help me find the correct course of action for my boyfriend. Well, I met with the father. We will call him Jim. I was so scared before talking to Jim that I was shaking. My voice was unsteady and I had tears in my eyes when I walked in. I had no idea where to begin. Jim looked concerned, so he sat us down across from each other. I told Jim that I believe his son has been sexually abused for 6 years now. Of course, Jim was taken aback. I started to tell him about what my boyfriend had told me. That's when Jim started to be more and more puzzled. He stopped me while I was telling the story about my boyfriend and his mother. Jim told me that there's no way that this could be completely true. When he said this, I started getting confused as well. Jim tells me that my boyfriend's mother died in a car accident when he was 8. Jim never remarried or had another girlfriend. At this point, I am dumbfounded and have no idea what to say. Jim tells me that he doesn't think my boyfriend's mother was sexually abusive while she was alive, or why my boyfriend would even tell me this. Jim also tells me that he has no idea who mom would be on his son's phone. I take a few minutes to calm down and think before I head over to my boyfriend's apartment. The drive was only 10-ish minutes. I took this time to process what Jim told me and what I would say to my boyfriend. When I got to the apartment, I promptly went inside. I demanded answers immediately. I asked the truth about his mother, the messages I saw, and if they've really been having sex since he was 13. Of course, he apologized again, and he gave me the same story. I got angry. This is where I lost my cool. I yelled and told him what his dad had told me, that his biological mother has been dead for almost 11 years. I told him I knew there was no way the story he told me was true because his mother is dead. My boyfriend became silent and looked down. At this point, I was crying uncontrollably. I felt so bad for what happened and I wanted him to get therapy. I was willing to forgive him for keeping the secret from me. My boyfriend was silent for a few minutes, then finally spoke to me. He told me he made the whole story up. The contact he had as mom was actually an ex-girlfriend who he regularly hooked up with. She was 20 and a bartender in our city. He put her name as mom so that I wouldn't get suspicious that he was talking to another woman so often. He didn't think I would find out, so he fabricated the whole story. This way, I wouldn't be mad at him. He told me that he figured that I would feel sorry for him and stay with him. I felt so betrayed when he confessed this. In the past few days, I went from having a healthy relationship to thinking my boyfriend had been sexually abused by his mother, only to find out it was all a lie just because he didn't want me to know he was sleeping with his ex. He tried to justify it further, telling me it was meaningless and that he only loved me. I told my boyfriend that I wanted nothing to do with him and left. He tried to follow and plead with me, but I ignored him. I drove home, threw out everything he gave me, and blocked him. I can't believe he lied about something so major just to protect himself. I haven't stopped crying since I left his apartment. I'm so hurt, and now I don't know what to do. I no longer want him in my life. I'm considering moving towns so he can't find me. He's gotten online and used a fake number to try to get a hold of me to apologize. I need to clear my head and try to take everything in. I'm going to turn my phone and computer off for a while so that he can't try to contact me again. Update. So my now ex-boyfriend came to my apartment and started banging on the door, begging to be let in so that we could talk. At this point, I have turned all the lights off. I'm being quiet so he will hopefully leave. I know he can see my car out front, so it's obvious that I'm here. I want to call the cops, but I'm not sure there's much they can do. I'm thinking about going back to live with my parents until this blows over with him. I'm also considering talking to his ex that he was hooking up with. I got her full name and where she works. I will keep updates as I learn more about my ex-boyfriend. Update number 2. I'm having a lot of people send me messages, so thank you for the kind words. I can't reply to everyone, so at the bottom of the comments, I've added some additional commentary on everyone's suspicions. Please note that there are some personal details I've left out in order to keep privacy. Number 1, the nudes. Yes, it seems out there that I couldn't tell. Here's why it was difficult. Because they were all close-ups of the genitals. Looking back, if I would have paid more attention, yes, I would have known. But I wasn't thinking about it at the time. I was scared. Number 2, the phone. It was dark, and I picked one up off the nightstand and opened it. No, he didn't have a passcode. Yes, I did realize it was his, but kept reading. I was just alarmed from the few messages I read on his lock screen, so I decided to keep reading. Number 3, the dead mother. I asked about his mother many times, but no one ever gave me a fraught answer. They were always vague, like they didn't want to talk about her. We had only been dating for a few months, and I don't feel like I should press about something someone doesn't want to discuss. The ex. I can't post much at this point on here because I've decided to take take legal action. I got into contact with his ex, and I can say this isn't the first time he's done something sociopathic like this. He's made some illegal moves on her, and I've decided to take this a step further. Edit, I ended up talking to his ex. We had a long conversation, and I learned some other information. She told me she had no idea what I was talking about when I told her what he had told me. She claims she hasn't talked to him in months because of a restraining order she has against him. He harassed her when she broke up with him back in 2017. She also almost had a child with him, but decided to abort it when they broke up. I cannot disclose why they broke it off. I'm considering a restraining order as well, as he is now harassing me. Since the ex says she's not the one who he was cheating on me with, I have no idea who it actually is. But I couldn't care less at this point. I can't disclose much else since I do want to take legal action, but I've told what I can to the best of my ability. Now, I know what you're thinking. This is completely fabricated fiction for karma. But apparently, and horrifyingly, it's not. This is actually a verified story. Verified by the mods of r/relationship advice. For stories that are highly suspected fakes, they ask the OP for proof. And apparently, this OP gave enough proof to deem the story as true, which again is horrifying. OP's now ex-boyfriend needs some serious help. He is completely unhinged. To cheat is bad enough, but to flip it and pretend like he's a victim of long-term sexual abuse by his own mother, who turns out to not only be innocent and deceased, is off the charts psychopath. Then naming his equally innocent ex as his affair partner? I just can't. What a vindictive piece of crap. And his poor dad for finding out that he's raised a monster who would slander his own deceased mother's memory to cover up his cheating. So disgusting. I hope OP talks to someone and seeks help as well about this incident, because I'm sure this was all really scary and traumatizing for her, especially because she is so young. But anyway, that is all from me today. Please leave a like and subscribe if you want. I truly appreciate when you do, and I will see you in the next Reddit story. Bye!